Welcome, welcome once again. It's always a pleasure when you do allow us into your space. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango, and straight away into the bulletin, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has signed 4 bills into law. The president assented to the bills today, Friday, 14th June 2024. The bills signed into law include the Free Zones Amendment Act 2024, the Uganda Wildlife Amendment Act 2024, the National Library Amendment Act 2024, and the Uganda National Meteorological Authority Amendment Act 2024. The 4 bills were recently passed by the Parliament of Uganda and were awaiting President Museveni's assent. President Museveni has met with a group of officials from the Uganda Manufacturers Association at State House in Entebbe. During the meeting, the president informed the group that they must forge ways to revitalize the country's textile industry, part of the economic growth. President Museveni emphasized the importance of protecting and developing the local textile industry. President Museveni called for additional measures, including specific duties based on the weight of textile imports to strengthen the sector. Deo Kayemba, UMA's board chairman, thanked President Museveni for his continued support for local manufacturing. Addressing the specific duties on textile imports, Mr. Kayemba pointed out that 47 out of the 500 tariff lines attract specific duties, a policy designed to enhance value addition to local cotton. The UMA boss also expressed confidence that with government support, the manufacturing sector, particularly textile, can be a cornerstone of the growth. UMA has already established a working framework with the Ministry of Trade and Economic Development to implement these strategies. The meeting also touched on challenges faced by the textile sector, including a recent strike by Kampala City Traders Association, which raised concerns about the variety of locally produced textiles and the impact of the specific duties. On the other hand, following events surrounding the trade sector's strike, he said that UMA supports the introduction of electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing system, saying that it is a key tax collection solution. Now, government needs to reduce electricity tariffs and the cost of gas in order to encourage Ugandans to embrace their usage and abandon the use of firewood and charcoal, which are known for fueling environmental degradation and green gas emissions. Let's hear more in this report.
Sometime last year, President Yoweri Museveni issued a directive that restricted commercial burning of charcoal as a remedy to tree-cutting prey that was soon depleting Uganda's forest cover. A report by Twaweza indicates that 95% of Ugandans continue to use firewood and charcoal as fuel for cooking, justifying the high rate of forest cover loss. The report further reveals that barely 4% of Ugandans use the renowned alternatives like kerosene, electricity and gas for cooking, which status is heavily driven by the high cost attached to such resources.
The country is interested in the promotion of the use of LPG, but how many Ugandans can actually afford that? That is a big question that needs to be answered by multiple stakeholders.
Government is being urged to deliberately check on the prices of such products to lure the populace into transitioning from the environmentally insensitive means to clean energy use.
We need to reduce on the power tariffs. We need to also reduce on the gas expenses such that people are able to adopt. Otherwise, the presidential directives on closing charcoal exportation and sales will not work if people have nothing to use for cooking.
It's an open secret that Uganda is already experiencing significant impacts of climate change, manifesting in changing weather patterns, drop in water levels, and increased frequency of extreme weather patterns like floods and drought. Environmental enthusiasts are calling on Ugandans to embrace adaptation to climate change, but also take keen interest in mitigation efforts.
Forestation and reforestation are very important items in curbing, first of all, in curbing the emissions so far within the atmosphere, and also in helping to do with the adaptation, especially provision of firewood, but also agroforestry provision of food, and also management of the soil fertility. So we are very optimistic that if at least we are able to jealously guard our natural resources, especially forestry resources, we shall be able to curb the effect of climate change, especially on the agricultural production.
Whereas the research portrays eastern and northern parts of Uganda as the worst hit by effects of climate change, there is no guarantee that the rest of the country is immune. Deliberate efforts to ensure conservation and restoration of the degraded parts remains the ultimate remedy by far. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
Now, Minister of State for the Elderly, Mufwabio Dominic, announced the upcoming commemoration of World Elderly Abuse Awareness Day. This year's event will be held at Imperial Royal Hotel. World Elderly Abuse Awareness Day is observed globally every 15th of June. During a press conference at the Media Center, Minister Mufwabio highlighted the common cases of elderly abuse that take form of false accusations such as witchcraft against the elderly women.
On 15th June, the world commemorates the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day to highlight abuse faced by older persons. The World Elder Abuse Awareness Day was officially recognized by the United Nations General Assembly in December 2011 and allocated 15th June to be observed. Uganda joins the rest of the world on this day to highlight and create awareness on the rights of older persons. Government, through Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, calls upon all Ugandans, the media fraternity, to respect and promote the rights of older persons so as to age gracefully. I wish to take this opportunity to thank all partner organizations, especially the National Council for Older Persons, that have contributed towards this event. I call upon more partners to join in this noble cause of safety for our senior citizens. The initiative aims to support vulnerable older persons to participate in the national development through engaging in income-generating activities to increase household income. This is besides SAGE, which targets older persons above 80 years, and the 10% loan-based fund under the parish development model, known as PDM. The above interventions are aimed at ensuring that older persons' rights are not only promoted, but also protected. A call for
Now, the youth have been urged to tap into government projects in order to supplement their professions other than lamenting and engaging in unlawful acts, which at times cut short their lives. This call has been made by the State Minister in charge of Youth and Children's Affairs, Balam Barugahara.
The Minister State of Youth and Children Affairs, Dr. Balam Barugahara, has graced a one-day workshop of young and student engineers in Kampala.
As you are aware, our president, he wants to transform this country to a manufacturing state, not to an exporting state. He no longer wants us to export our materials in raw form. He wants us to export furniture now. He wants us to export processed coffee. He wants us to make our own roads. That's why he's empowering the UPDF Engineering Brigade and all these other brigades. So it is important that we have these young people.
According to the organizers and funders of this initiative, this is an opportunity to brainstorm about the civil works sector.
We have been launching Isaac Wandela Balamu mentorship program, that is IWB. Now this mentorship program, it is a program which is going to bridge academia and the industry. So majority of our engineers, when they leave university, they don't find work, and also the government cannot employ everybody. So we're trying to mentor them into opening up different companies.
On the other hand, it is hopeful that through such workshops that the young generation can combat unemployment stock.
We need the local industry to grow. For it to grow, we need the youth to be able to open up these companies. And when engineers do it themselves, they are working for themselves, they are employing themselves, and they are doing the profession they have studied in. So what has been happening, some of them, they need career guidance, some of them need to be shown the vision.
Because the biggest problem is unemployment. And our youth need to start their own businesses. So for us, we say in entrepreneurship, people should start their own businesses and be able to grow them. We need to look at that organic growth, where one starts with what they have, then they can be able to grow to the other higher levels.
For Minister Dr. Barumbarugahara used this workshop as a podium to rally the youth to embrace government programs.
So encourage them to be patriotic, to desist from alcoholism and the drug abuse. And then when they remain on that line, and also to support government programs, we shall grow our country to a medium economy and to a developed economy in the long run.
The Honourable Minister is a great one.
Compassion Uganda and religious leaders have rallied parents on rights and safety of children. This comes as the country prepares to host the Continental Day of the African Child, celebrated every 16th of June in commemoration of the hundreds of children that were killed in Soweto in South Africa.
June 16th is set aside for the Day of the African Child in commemoration of the hundreds of thousands who lost their lives in Soweto, South Africa, while fighting for their rights. As Uganda joins the rest of Africa to commemorate the day, Emmanuel Ahimbisiwe, the National Director of Compassion International Uganda, says that although much has been done to protect children from violations, many children still need assistance.
There are many children that still face hunger. There are many children that still struggle to access education. There are many children that are still exposed to all forms of abuse. There are many children that live without shelter. It is also a moment for us to again take a step back and ask ourselves, what better thing can we do to make sure that we make this world a better place for the children?
He also appealed to the government and other non-governmental organizations to work towards enhancing the rights of children in the country.
Within this space, to continue working hard to make sure that every child is known, is loved, is safe, is protected, and is also given a chance and an opportunity to grow, to flourish, to thrive, and also be able to accomplish that God has purposed him to accomplish on this earth, and be able to accomplish and achieve all their full God-given potential.
However, to make significant progress, collective efforts are necessary.
We need the support from the government, we need the right curriculum, we need educational programs that actually can affect the children. In our churches, we need more Sunday school trainings and more Sunday school teachers, so that actually we build some hope. We need also counseling to these people becoming a father and a mother. They need also to be spiritually enriched, that whatever product they are getting, they are able to help these children grow.
This day has been celebrated since 1976. However, it faces many challenges in advocating for the rights of children. Bishop Patrick Wakula is the Bishop of the Busoga Central Diocese.
The parents are no longer the right role models. Some of our parents are not morally upright. If you are sending a child to buy for you a cigarette and you say don't smoke, you are telling your child to go and buy me this bottle of beer but you don't drink, then those are what we call the double signals in parenting. Another aspect is the single parents. Some of our parents are single, a mother is seated with the child somewhere, a father is seated with the child somewhere, and yet we need both of them.
Bishop Kadogo Enos from Mukono Diocese appreciated Compassion Uganda for upholding the rights of children. He also called upon parents to show love to their children as a rightful way of bringing them up.
Take these children as a gift from God. That would be great to us because God has just entrusted us to care, to give care to these younger ones on His behalf. Therefore, when we are handling these younger people, we must know that God has entrusted us with that responsibility.
The Day of the African Child will be celebrated on the 16th of June in Chiriandongo District. Justin Nakami, Kenneth Tanaba, UBC News.
Now, President Yoweri Museveni is expected to officiate the National Physical Activity Day on the 17th of June 2024 under the theme Exercise is Medicine. National Physical Activity Day is aimed at curbing the burden of non-communicable diseases.
Bola and socket joint cheyo yerimu system yokutambula bomenyo omugongo amanyi g'ekisajja gonna gali mu bola and socket joint.
The National Physical Activity Day 2024, the Ministry of Health will commemorate this day physical activity, and the theme will be Exercise is Medicine. Do regulate physical activity to prevent non-communicable diseases. At Makerere University Business School sports grounds at 6 a.m. on the morning of Sunday. Do not miss. Even if you are unfit, just come and do something. Your start will be on that day. His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda is expected to be our chief guest. The event will be animated with different physical activities ranging to 10-kilometer run, 5-kilometer walk, aerobics, football, volleyball, netball. You've already seen the trainer is here to show you how to do it. The Ministry of Health has organized free screening services for the non-communicable diseases like heart disease, diabetes, sickle cell, asthma, cancers, all these, prostate, hepatitis B. You'll have an opportunity to check for this. So I therefore call upon all of you Ugandans to not miss this chance to come, and Golola will Golola you and open your veins that have been stuck due to the NCDs that are in your body and you don't know about. So physical activity is very important. I call upon everybody to come and exercise on that day. Thank you.
We are celebrating, we are launching the National Fitness Day. National Fitness Day, His Excellency launched it in time of COVID. But now he's coming back to remind us about getting fit. Getting fit, everyone is supposed to get fit. It doesn't matter what type of food you eat, what kind of drink you drink, so long as you work out. We have just opened up a campaign whereby we are moving across Uganda. We are doing fitness sensitization. We are telling the people the importance of fitness. Many things that you need to get money to go to the gym. No, you can use your areas. For example, you are waking up in the morning. Don't get a boda. Have 2 pairs of shoes. One, put it in a bag. Have the flat one. Walk up to where you're going to get a taxi. Breathe in one more time.
Mental health. Uganda has called government to decriminalize the act of suicide, saying it contributes to the increasing number of people taking their lives. Let's hear more in this report.
The current police crime updates indicate drastic increase in cases of suicide registered. Mental Health Uganda attributes this upward curve movement to the economic situation in the country, which has made people hate their lives.
Economic issues that make them think contemplate even suicide. But there's the anxiety that we see among many men and the depression is many times associated with the economic issues. And the things they talk about is, I've lost my job, okay, and I cannot provide for my family.
The demographic population of Uganda with high rate of educated and employed youth is another concern which has pushed a specific age bracket on the wall to resort to suicide to end the game.
Every day universities are getting a lot of students out as graduate, but the lot who have never worked is so massive. Many people walk in here and then they think you have a job when you don't have, but then the person gets out and then he looks this way and looks that. You see someone very scattered.
Social media and sports betting are two other toxic platforms that have created anger among a disgruntled class of people to deem their lives useless.
So I think social media in general is a hostile environment. And because of the way we interpret messages that we see in social media is why you see the reactions of anger. Okay, I don't know if a study has been done to see the impact of social media, but what we see is that the bullying that happens on the internet, okay, bullying in general, harassment, is a major trigger for mental health problems, especially for young people.
With these statistics, Mental Health Uganda wants government to amend Section 210 of the Penal Code Act, which criminalizes suicide. They are of the view other alternatives of integrating mental health care and services in formal and social institutions should be sought.
Suicide as a public health issue rather than a criminal one. Because why would you charge me in a court of law, yet you did not support me with my issues? Because that's the most critical issue that I had a lot of problems. So these are, you, as a state, you must work on the socio-economic determinants.
We don't use the word committing suicide. We actually say the person has died by suicide or has taken their life in the context of choices. Okay.
Stakeholders want Ministry of Health to find modalities of extending mental health care to communities as stipulated in the Mental Health Act of 2019. They believe this will increase utilization, access to care, and enhance awareness of mental health care and services. Abdul Nasser Lubwama and Rogers Komagum for UBC.
Uganda is known for its hospitality for over 1.5 million refugees fleeing war, conflict, and persecution. A closer look at the lives of these refugees and that of the communities hosting them, and a sense of generosity is witnessed. Let's hear more from Henry Okrut.
It is not their wish that they were displaced. It is because of the unrest back home.
Politics of emptiness, because people don't see that the politics must address the needs of human beings other than addressing the differences amongst people.
Most ended up in neighboring countries like Uganda for safety. For peace to prevail back home, these refugees want just more than signatures.
I don't believe in those agreements because they are signed by politicians with interest.
They have left their homes and families behind to seek safety and a new beginning. To many of these refugees, the journey to Uganda is often long and tedious.
To bring lasting peace is to ensure that public interest is taken into account.
Thanks are to the government of the day. Uganda is peaceful. To the extent of extending the gesture to other countries, the country continues to host asylum seekers and refugees.
Uganda has been peaceful thanks to the NRM government, which has tolerated differences and allowed our citizens to vote, allowed free expressions of opinion and so forth, and therefore our state is able to maintain peace. And definitely as a peaceful country, then most people want to run here.
Uganda's refugee settlements may provide a sense of community and security, but conditions are often challenging. Refugees face limited access to resources, including food, water, and health care. It is an international crisis.
Some of the wealthy countries, particularly in Africa here, like Congo, their wealth are being robbed, and therefore it is in the interest of those robbers to see that Congo is unstable. Otherwise, if they have an organized government who protects their citizens and protect their wealth, those people will not be able to steal those wealth.
The gospel has been on for countries where these refugees are generated to embrace peace. But the peace is still in short supply. Majority of refugees are hosted from the Democratic Republic of Congo and South Sudan. In the quest for where the missing link is, we fly to Geneva in Switzerland. To speak to us is the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees.
I think that the most important is for the international community to have better systems to stop conflicts, even to prevent conflicts from happening. You know, the system, the international system, conflict resolution system, peace and security system was established after the Second World War, long time ago, almost 80 years ago. That system served us for some decades, but it needs to be strengthened. It needs to be reformed, renewed.
Uganda's Minister for Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees, Engineer Hilary Onek, is in agreement.
Selfish leadership, selfish individuals who want to thrive on those cheap, primitive principles create divisions among their people, and therefore creating those kind of situations of ethnic challenges. And therefore, then the vulnerable people now run for their lives, and that's how they end up in countries like Uganda, which has over the last 30 years plus have been stable.
Uganda's policy on refugees remains open door. This implies refugees can come in as and when they feel not safe. This, however, should not be taken for granted.
Sometimes I also wonder when I go to ask for resources for Uganda and I don't get enough. And then I say, don't take that hospitality for granted. It has been generous, it has been advanced, visionary, forward-looking, but it's a burden for Uganda. So don't take it for granted. Help Uganda.
I think they have to be brought to order. Globally, they have to be brought to order so that there is peace everywhere. Unless that is done, whether through other means, and they are sanctioned and brought to order, they will still continue generating refugees for peaceful countries like Uganda.
South Sudan, for example, is set to hold elections towards the end of this year, 2024. This is being organized as one of the avenues towards ushering in total peace. As to whether this will work out for the people of South Sudan, the answer is both yes and no.
Of course, it is good that South Sudan continues to follow a democratic path and asks its citizens to resolve their differences through the ballot box and not through the guns.
South Sudan, in my view, needs a lot of political, ideological, or in a kind of advocacy and indoctrination and changing the mindset of that population in order to attain peace. It's not about just mere elections. We have the mindset of those traumatized people have to be changed.
Ugandan communities have equally welcomed refugees with open arms and shared whatever little they have. This, however, has come with its own set of challenges which need to be addressed as the world looks forward to celebrating World Refugee Day.
And I will be visiting South Sudan. And I want to really highlight how complicated these situations are and how much we must multiply efforts to solve the crisis, but meanwhile to help the victims.
Uganda's refugee story continues to be one of resilience, hope and hospitality, providing shelter to about 1.5 million of them. The gesture remains a brotherly example, serving as a beacon of hope for a more compassionate and inclusive world. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Amanya gange nze Namutebi Sharon nga nkolera wano wennyini Saka Kirombe oba Makindye. Empangula gye nawanguddemu ssente mbadde nga nkozesa mobile money nga nsindika school fees w'omwana ku ssomero. Okutegeera nti mpangudde nze mutima neegambye nti kambalinde bamale okujja ndyoke nzikirize nti mpangudde. Kyennyinza okubagamba nti si byabafere weewaawo abafere gye bali naye ennamba eri emu yokka era bw'eba ekukubidde omanya eyo si yabafere. Mpulira bulungi nnyo 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 era ndi musanyufu nnyo. Naye MTN mobile money mbebaza nnyo mwebale nnyo mwebalire.
Together we're unstoppable. Gold. We all want it. That soft yellow glow of a subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold.
Banyeta ko Muhangi Donata the chairperson wa group. I
am the chairperson of this group that got money. The group is called Kalsandala HIV/AIDS Craftswomen Group. UWEP gave us money in 2017 and they gave us 3.3 million Ugandan shillings. We used it in 1 year and got 23 million out of it. We do baskets and kitchen gardens, and we also have a saving group. We thank UWEP because this money helped us as women. Women can now educate their children and build houses because many of them are single mothers. We work without jealousy because we want to leave a legacy that even those who will be around tomorrow will appreciate.
Welcome back. News Tonight continues. Now, Muslims have been urged to fast on the day of Arafat to earn rewards, especially for those not performing Hijjah. While leading Jummah prayers at the Gaddafi National Mosque, Sheikh Ali Bulafu emphasized the importance of actions that bring rewards from Allah.
During the Jummah prayers at Gaddafi National Mosque, Sheikh Ali Bulafu highlighted fasting and giving to the needy as a key practice on the day of Arafat, which is tomorrow, Saturday.
Tomorrow is the day of Arafah. Fast it because of the goodness in it. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam narrated to us the best dua that you will ever supplicate is the dua you make on that day of Arafah. And secondly, if you dare fast the day of Arafah, Allah pardons you the previous day, the previous year of your shortcomings and the coming year of your shortcomings. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to do that.
Sheikh Bulafu also mentioned the tradition of slaughtering animals on Eid al-Dhuha, following the example of Prophet Ibrahim.
Globally are going to sacrifice animals for one reason, in respect of the tradition of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and secondly, to just show our levels of submission to Allah. When Allah orders you to do something, you're going to do that without questioning Him. That is what our father Ibrahim in faith trained us Muslims.
Deputy Secretary for Sharia at the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, Sheikh Salim Obosa, confirmed that Eid al-Dhuha prayers will be held on Sunday.
National prayers will be led by His Eminence, Sheikh Dr. Sha'bani Ramambani Mubajje, the Mufti of Uganda, at the National Mosque at Old Kampala. The prayer will commence promptly at 8 a.m. We kindly request all Muslims to arrive on time.
Additionally, the Secretary General of the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, Haj Abbas Mulubya Sechanzi, warned against those intending to cause trouble during Eid prayers, assuring that all necessary measures to quell their moves are in place.
Make sure you follow the security instructions and all other guidance from the people who will be assigned to manage the traffic and the crowd on that day. Because of security precautions, any kind of commotion will not be entertained.
Eid al-Dhuha is celebrated on the 10th of Dhul Hajj, marking the end of the Islamic calendar. Abdul Nasir Lowama and Jamil Sekaja for UBC.
Now, Uganda to eastern Uganda now, where NRM leaders and communities in Teso and Karamoja sub-regions have vowed to support President Yoweri Museveni come 2026 general elections.
The NRM leaders in Teso and Karamoja sub-regions have vowed to support President Yoweri Museveni in 2026 general elections. This was during a mindset seminar organized by Team Through YKM at their offices in Kampala for NRM members from Teso and Karamoja sub-regions.
You move around Kampala here, you will not see any t-shirt, any yellow t-shirt. You will see Bobby Wine, you will see FDC. No! But when they hear that Museveni is coming, you will see the whole Kampala flooded with yellow. It's faking. That's fair. Museveni to fair.
The reason all of us why we are here is to support the visionary of Papa President, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, none other than Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
Led by their national coordinator, Team Through YKM in Teso sub-region, Omongole Joseph, the members commended President Museveni for peace, stability and democracy that have been enjoyed in the country for the last 38 years of NRM rule. The national coordinator, Team Through YKM, also Special Operations Senior Mobilizer on Poverty Eradication, Pastor Mbabazi Robert, commended government for fighting corruption and encouraged all NRM to complement government in the war.
visit RDC, communicate with him. So when you have diesel, you have RDC, you have DPC, the PSOs, the chairman also one, your project will be safe.
Mbabazi appealed to NRM members across the country to be united as the country moves towards 2026 general elections.
Kibale Sub-Region National Resistance Movement and Patriotic Lead of Uganda Coordinator Harriet Tubulihiwa Sali urges communities in Kakumiro district to prioritize their future by not selling their land. Let's hear more in this report.
The coordinator of the National Resistance Movement Party and Patriotic League of Uganda in Greater Kibale, Harriet Tubulihiwa Sali, has urged communities in Kakumiro district not to sell their land. She encourages them to embrace government programs aimed at wealth creation and increasing household incomes.
The introduction of government programs like PDM, Operation Wealth Creation, Emioga, this is one way of having these people work hard, introducing to them development work, introduce to them different projects, help them identify which projects they can do in order to eradicate poverty, to also realize some income at household levels.
Tubulihiwa emphasized support for the National Resistance Movement Party's ideologies and the adoption of the 4-hectare model for commercial farming.
Let us work together to see that our party does what it is required to do. Let us work for it, let us love it, and let us move together with it.
Speaking at a fundraising drive in Igayaza Town Council, Kakumiro District, she urged communities to prioritize education for their children, citing it as the best inheritance for competitiveness in the global job market.
I encouraged them to engage in agriculture so that when they grow their agricultural produce, and they harvest them, they could take them to the market, they sell them.
Local authorities in Igayaza Town Council commended the NRM party for championing unity, prosperity and supporting vulnerable communities, especially women and youth, to alleviate poverty. Ms. Tubulihiwa also advised leaders at all levels to avoid segregation when executing development programs, highlighting that poverty does not discriminate based on tribe, religion or race.
Educationists are keen on nurturing democracy at lower levels to ensure all flaws in the electoral process are eliminated. Senior educationist Francis Banya says linking democracy to a free and fair election might not suffice, but engaging young people in understanding their rights nurtures democracy at all levels.
As Uganda races towards 2026 general elections, educationists are inculcating democratic values among learners. At All Saints Junior School, Namataba, a senior educationist, Francis Banya, insists young people must appreciate democracy at their own level.
Some of these learners here are 12 and 13 years, meaning that after 7 years, they will be eligible voters at the national level. So we are not only looking at All Saints, but we are preparing them at national level.
It is polling day to elect a prefect's body. After the campaigns, every pupil is a registered voter. The process, though it does not involve Electoral Commission officials, has polling materials borrowed from the Electoral Commission. Other facilities are the Commission Chairman, Returning Officer, Polling Assistants, Presiding Officer. These are the voters for today's polling exercise. The polling assistants cross-check and mark out the voters to avoid multiple voting. The polling constables monitor the exercise and seem to be offering security. The contestants seem to be known to the voters, but every voter has expectations.
I have come here to vote, to promote peace in the school.
I look for a great leader with courage.
I'm looking for a person who can lead me but not rule me.
To vote a person who will help All Saints to develop
the person who can listen to our voices and takes them to the administrators.
The polling exercise has closed. The ballot boxes are organized and taken to the tallying center.
The voting exercise has ended and I'm delivering the ballot boxes to the office of the chairperson.
In the race for prefectship, the highest position of prefects is a tight race between Muyodi Ashraf, who got 487 votes, and Shaista Parwin, who got 127 votes.
Family to announce and declare the winners.
I went to every child asking for votes. I just convinced them.
I'll try again. This time maybe it was his luck, so I don't have a problem.
Gender balance, of course, is very key. And it is the only way we can nurture democracy in young generation.
Abiona Francisco, UBC News.
Now, people living with disabilities in Buikwe district are concerned about the continued discrimination, especially on job distribution and other essential services. While receiving wheelchairs from Buikwe, Member of Parliament Diana Mutasingwa, the leader of the persons living with disabilities, called for action against discrimination.
Buikwe district is one of the districts with the highest number of persons with disabilities and elderly persons, with most of them living on the streets. With the number increasing every day, many of the persons living with disabilities are unemployed and facing alleged discrimination and oppression. Buikwe District Woman Member of Parliament Diana Mutasingwa, in partnership with Don Joseph and Friends Charity Organization, while handing over wheelchairs to persons living with disabilities, gave them hope to address their challenges. Julius Okello noted that there are many persons with disabilities who have the potential to get jobs in various places, but still face the problem of discrimination due to bad perception of their capabilities.
Disability Care Foundation. People with disabilities go through a lot in life, and of course, as far as job placement is concerned, most of the PWs are left out even when they have the newspapers. The communities or the officers in charge of recruitment still do not believe that people with disabilities have the abilities to become the powerful people in their communities. Most of them are educated, have the papers, but you find that the service commissions leave these people out because they do not have they believe people with disabilities do not have the abilities to work.
Fred Sentongo is the councillor representing persons with disabilities in Buikwe district. Some of the wheelchair recipients expressed their happiness for the assistance provided by their woman MP. They asked the government to come up with specific programs that cater for their group.
Wesanga nti luvannyuma nga lwa myaka 3 bagabirayo ekibiina kimu oba 2 netusamu netumaliriza nga abantu bafe abaliko obulemu bawandiika files zaabwe ne baziteekayo ne basaba obugabiriza obwo oba special grant naye nga buteekinga so long mubabaleka ne batabasomesa.
Diana Mutasingwa encouraged them to have confidence and willingness to work irrespective of their status.
Olwokuba tumanyi bati naffe tulina abantu abakosefu nga bali mu famire zaffe babeera naffe, so tulina okuvaayo tulabe nga tubakwatirako si nti ndi mukulembeze kyokka omuntu alina obuntu ate nga maama. Olw'ensonga bwe ndaba omwana nga tasobola ttambula nange kinkwata n'empulira bwinda.
Charity Marion Imnat and Sharon Kamba, UBC News.
Now, technical colleges have appealed to government to increase the number of slots for government-sponsored students to meet the growing interest for technical education. Let's hear more in this report.
Admissions for technical vocational education and training has closed today, Friday, in all 5 regional selection centers in the country. The decentralized admission system that started in 2020 has attracted big numbers of applicants, a significant increase.
It's quite different from the former
means of demission. Remember, Ministry of Education also conducts a job. You find that gradually, you know, when you are having a new system, it does not mean to say that we have to get rid of the old one. So legally we are moving steadily to the extent that in years ahead of us, this is going to be the overall mode of admission covering all the institutions, especially in the TVET.
The TVET policy of 2019 gave birth to the decentralized administration system, which has eased the process and given opportunity for inclusive admissions. The regional centers include UTC Elgon, Bushenyi, Pakwach, and Uganda Technical College, Lira.
This year the numbers are quite overwhelming because last year we got less than 800 applicants. Now we seem to have got close to 1,000 applicants.
Our youth who are still school-going age to impress this TVET at the lowest levels, if possible.
UTC Lira, that serves as a center for Northern Region, received over 1,700 applicants compared to the 800 last year. Dickens Oyuro is the registrar, Uganda Technical College, Lira.
Government supports 320 in total. That is year one per academic intake is 160. But now, looking at 1,700 competing for only 150 slots, meaning many will remain on private and maybe all of them will not turn up depending on the family background.
Now we have been appealing to government to increase on the number of government slots, because if we are talking skilling Ugandans and skilling for all, then and without increasing the numbers for government slots, it remains a challenge. But we want to thank government for all the support in terms of facilitating this activity.
Jacob Akunobere, the principal UTC Lira, noted that youth are losing marks for these competitive slots because of poor presentation.
You're supposed to be smart because smartness also carries some marks.
Applicants present themselves before a board similar to a job interview panel to check their qualification, readiness, dress code and presentation skills. Eddie Ulwa, UBC News.
Let's take a short break and then return with our business news.
Stay fresh. You wanna come preach, I'll be my get. Lighting. I did make a lighting up.
And into business, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development is in plans to install two-way bridges in Karamoja this financial year to manage the flow of minerals in Karamoja. Let's hear more.
Karamoja sub-region has varied minerals such as gold, marble, iron ore, which are mostly mined by artisan miners. During a consultative meeting on artisan mining regulations held in Moroto, the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development reiterated the need for a bridge in Karamoja. Agnes Agaba is the Commissioner, Mines Department at the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development.
We are here to engage the local government of Karamoja region for all the districts in Karamoja where artisanal mining activity has been taking place to help us locate specific areas where this artisanal can be settled and licenses granted to them so that we can regulate their activity and they can be productive within the specific site that government would have identified.
Agnes Agaba said the ministry is going to install two-way bridges in Karamoja to aid the monitoring movement of the minerals.
Government intends to put way bridges in some strategic mining sites. We've started with the Karamoja region. So far we've acquired two-way bridges that is going to be installed at Napak and one in Bulambuli district to capture not only the marble from this side, also the pozzolana coming from Kapchorwa.
Minister for Karamoja Affairs Peter Lekoris, he was officiating the meeting that was attended by stakeholders in the mining sector, local leaders, security officials, RDCs, cows from Nabilatuk, Moroto, Kabong, Nakapiripirit and Abim districts.
Me, who is in town, who can afford a license? We're talking about the people down in Rupa, in Akabad. They are mining not for luxury, not for business. It's a source of livelihood. It means whatever they get today and sell is what they're going to eat. You're telling them, sell that money, pay for tears, get a license.
How are you going to zone the artisans in the licensed area? That is one. Two, how are their rights going to be protected in that licensed area?
In those areas, if artisans are to pay any money, who is in charge of collecting that money? Because here in Morocco, we are having NFA collecting something, there's some company wants to collect something, and there are many people.
Lekoris advised the Karamojongs to desist from frustrating investors who come to the region.
To also become tough on our own side and treat ours very fast, so that you imagine that factory in the place I told you, Chepererwa in Kapenguria, West Pokot. The products are supposed to come here, and yet we are moving slowly with ours. We must develop the Kalita cement factory and this one at Naduge. And then, good enough that those ones are moving very fast. I'm saying the one of Katikekile must move very fast. Well,
stakeholders are optimistic that the initiative will improve the mining sector in the region.
We hope that after we have gazetted these areas, gazetted them, and now we get the licenses, and settlements get the licenses. I hope that government comes to support these people, give them finance so that they can cope with so that people will be informed.
This is what we have been waiting for since. So this has come timely because
they also highlighted on the dangers of use of mercury for mining.
To human health and also to the environment where we exist. Mercury impacts both in the short and in the long term. In terms of health, it affects the nervous system of humans. It's very dangerous to pregnant women, as most times it impacts the fetus. The children sometimes are born with the
Now, residents of Kampala are being encouraged to supplement their incomes through urban farming. Speaking at the Kampala City Food event, the Deputy Executive Director of Kampala Capital City Authority, KCCA, David Luyambazi, emphasized the benefits of urban farming.
Thank you very much. For the first time, Kampala hosted a food exhibition aimed at promoting urban farming. Under the theme, unveiling the potential of urban farming for improved food, nutrition and income, KCCA Deputy Executive Director David Luyambazi noted that urban farming can create job opportunities for city dwellers and address unemployment issues.
Food event is intended to promote urban agriculture in the city. It's a way of providing employment to people
increasing incomes, okay, and providing food security and healthy living in the country. So this kind of event is going to be an annual event to make sure that we create opportunities for people to have work. Not everybody should be employed by government or have employment. You can create your own employment or have a side hustle that gets income for you.
Land is diminishing fast, especially in urban areas due to employment, better social infrastructure, security, and other attractive features. Therefore, there is an urgent need to maximize small plots of land in towns to grow food crops and vegetables.
Additional food is required if we are to do well as a country. Uganda's economy is mainly supported by culture. And when you look at statistics on the gross domestic product, over 24% comes from agriculture.
Additionally, Deputy Lord Mayor Doreen Nyanjura stated that urban farming could significantly reduce the city's dependence on rural areas for food production.
We shouldn't grow crops just for the sake of eating. We need to put emphasis on growing crops that are nutritious in nature. Because if you look at the rates of malnutrition, if you look at the rates of statistics on child stunting, we find that Uganda will still have a very long way to go. So for me, this is very good, and we also need to empower more Chanja, which is our agricultural center that has been supports urban farmers.
Janet Grace Akech is the woman MP for Abim and chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture.
Widespread. No one person can manage. So I want to call upon our partners, the NGOs, and for us who come from government, that we need to join hands to ensure that we promote urban agriculture generally, so as to rid nations.
Exhibitors at the event share their thoughts on the benefits of urban farming.
So this urban farming is good for small plots where you live, and then you're doing farming without inconveniencing you. You put your pyramid around the compound and you watch it grow, and then you pick greens. We know we need vegetables at all times. So when you reach home even at 7 p.m. you are able to pick.
The event, funded by the French Development Agency, featured a range of activities, including cooking classes, food testing, and smart urban farming demonstrations. Justine Nakami, in Kampala.
Now, in the area of vocational, Ministry of Education and Sports has applauded the technical and vocational training institutions in the country for ushering in job creators rather than job seekers, thereby narrowing the youth unemployment gap in the country.
The selection process for national diploma applicants at Nakawa Vocational Training Institute is underway. Learners from various regions of the country, including the central, eastern and western regions, apply to various technical institutions for enrollment in national diploma programs in technical and vocational fields, such as technology, catering, and construction.
In northern Uganda, the exercise is being conducted at UTC Lira. In eastern Uganda, it is being done at Elgon, UTC, and West Nile at UCC Pakwach.
To select qualified candidates for the diploma courses, interviews are conducted to assess their readiness for the programs offered by the diploma awarding technical institutions. The permanent secretary of the Ministry of Education and Sports, Kate Ramaro, paid a courtesy visit to Nakawa Vocational Training Institute to observe the selection process.
People, this is the only chance they have, and we shouldn't disadvantage them. So I want to thank you so much. You can see the demand is high, so it's important that we work together to make this exercise credible.
The physical interview process for diploma applicants has been ongoing for a week at Nakawa Vocational Training Institute for the Central Region.
candidates applied, and as you have already seen, there were too many applicants.
The Commissioner for Training and Vocational Training emphasized the government's commitment to encouraging young people to pursue practical courses, aiming to create more job creators than seekers.
Our graduates are getting employed very easily. So people are seeing that immediately now you graduate from a TVET institution, you can work and at the same time continue studying. That the government is determined to see young people, the youth, join hands-on and skills training, because that is the way to go.
The principal of Nakawa Vocational Training Institute explains the reasons why technical and vocational training still remains expensive.
And because we are also going competence-based education and training, it is required that when somebody finishes a module, he is expected to be competent. He should be able to do something. If it is construction, he should be able to construct a wall. If it is roofing, he should be able to construct a roof.
Rebecca Natongo, UBC News.
Into the world of sports, Uganda Olympic Committee's Sports for Social Development Committee has hosted the festival that attracted more than 200 pupils at Kibuli Police Children's School.
With 42 days to the Paris 2024 Olympics, momentum in Uganda is building. This has been evidenced at Kibuli Police Children's School during the occasion to celebrate 40 days to the Games with emphasis on the Olympic values.
As part of the build-up, we have been having a number of activities to celebrate and create awareness. So this has been one of them, where we are engaging here at the Kibuli Police Primary School, engaging with over 2,000 students to, one, promote Olympism, the values of Olympism, of friendship, respect and excellence, but also create awareness of what's going to be happening with Team Uganda. So this is part of a series of activities.
The event, on the theme of United Initiative, Sharing the Experience, was organized by Uganda Olympic Committee's Sports for Social Development Commission.
It serves the purpose of motivating them. You know, they need to understand why these activities take place, and also they learn that if they put effort and concentrate, they can get somewhere. And then in the sharing, you get the feeling of what other people also are going to be getting from Paris, because there will be a large community from all over the world.
On top of education about the Olympic values, the learners were tutored on sports disciplines like fencing, taekwondo, football, and modern pentathlon.
That's all we had time for. Thank you so much for being a part of us. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango, and of course we say good night, but UBC programming continues. Stay with us.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Cheers to something refreshingly different. Putting the brakes on a fast-paced world. Slowing down. Just enough to stand out. Cheers to the beer that does it differently. Brewed longer for extra refreshment. Refreshing Club. Alcohol is not for sale to persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
This weekend on UBC.
The Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo serves as a vivid example of how a region with forests and inadequate infrastructure has become a sanctuary for rebel groups, causing destabilization along the Uganda-DR Congo border.
This area as a playground for them. The general areas from Eringeti to Ndalia to Mambelenga to Otomaber to Ndimo to Ido.
Eastern DRC was available for them within governed area. That gave them space to rebuild.
And once we achieve our strategic end state of degrading their capacity to make war, that will make the end of their disturbances.
This weekend on UBC.
The Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo serves as a vivid example of how a region with forests and inadequate infrastructure has become a sanctuary for rebel groups, causing destabilization along the Uganda-DR Congo border.
This area as a playground for them. The general areas from Eringeti to Ndalia to Mambelenga to Otomaber to Ndimo to Ido.
Eastern DRC was available for them within governed area. That gave them space to rebuild.
And once we achieve our strategic end state of degrading their capacity to make war, that will make the end of their disturbances.
We think the UPDF and the FRDC are on the right way, and we are so sure and confident that soon the ADF issue will be a complete case.
The joint military operation has yielded visible results, with many ADF camps destroyed and the remaining rebels on the run.
Our professionalism is grounded on ideological awareness.
Don't miss the UPDF Legacy program on UBC TV. The program will showcase commitment by the Uganda People's Defense Forces in its pursuit of sustainable peace and security in the country.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government, designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Welcome to the Uplift Official channel. Today, we will be exploring powerful herbs for pain management. Nature has provided us with an array of herbs that offer